I have here the Canon R5C and I have the Sony A7R5. I am primarily a Sony FX3 and a Sony FX6 shooter. As you can see behind me, I do have the Sony FX6 right there. That is one of my go-to cameras for interview setups. I did want an 8K shooter in the mix, and I also wanted a better photography camera to upgrade from the A7R3, which I have. So this was the camera that I mainly use for photography, and I just wanted something a little bit more robust. And if I am gonna get something robust, I'm like, might as well add 8K to the mix and add that to the arsenal. So I've been playing with these two cameras for the past couple weeks, trying to decide which one I want to go with. So why did I pick these two? Well, first of all, I'm already in the Sony family. So the R5, wow, the R5. This is the R5 and this is the R5C. I can call both of them R5s. That's correct. So this R5 from Sony does 8K. I already have Sony in my arsenal, so I already have Sony glass. This integrates flawlessly into my current setup, and I have been taking some photos with it and taking it on some shoots, and I really do like the image that comes out of it. I love that I'm familiar with the menu system, and I can just pick this up and go and not really think about it. Now here comes the Canon, right? First of all, the Canon is lighter, so I do like that the Canon is not as heavy. This thing, it almost feels like a toy. Not as light as this toy, but it feels very light, and I love that. So this shoots, first of all, the images that the Canon shoots, it made me want to just put away all my Sony cameras for photography. Like, I thought the images coming out of my FX3 were great. I thought the images coming out of here were great. I thought the images coming out of here was great. But when I took a picture on the Canon and I just saw the beautiful Canon profile, the color science and how the images came out, it just had a certain je ne sais quoi. I don't know how to describe it, but I can hands down say that images look better on the Canon R5C.
Say it again. Say it one more time.
Images look better on the Canon R5C over the A7R5, over my A7R3, over my FX3, over my FX30. The images that this produces is beautiful. So if you are strictly doing photography, hands down, pick this bad boy up. All right, let's get into some other points. Said that, the photos, hands down, Canon wins when it comes to photography. 10 times out of 10. Or is the phrase 9 times out of 10? I'm just gonna say all the time. So something random that I just came across. So I actually do not have a card in the Canon at all, right? If I put it on photo mode, I can actually turn it on, right? And what's cool is I can take a picture and still see the image that I took, even though it says no card, but I can't play it back because clearly there's no card. But I mean, it would be awful to do a photo shoot with someone and they hear the clicking and you show them the photo, and each time you take a photo, there's no photo there. I don't know why you even do that to someone, but maybe as a prank or something. I don't know. I thought that was pretty interesting. And I was like, oh, can you do that with the Sony as well? And yes, you can, but there's a simple one up on the Sony because you could actually hit the play button. So right now, just to show you, I have no card in the camera empty, right? So if I take a picture of these vitamins, boom, takes the picture, I can hit the play button and I can see the image I took. Now, if I go back to the mode again without taking another photo, I can still hit play and that image is there. So it'll save an image for you. So you could do a photo shoot with just one image that just never comes off the camera. Anyway, that was pointless. I don't know how it helps you. If you just need the sound effect for something, or you really want to mess with somebody and have them insane, and All right, so 8K, both of these cameras shoot 8K. The image quality is wonderful from both of them. However, this one does 8K RAW. And this is a huge benefit for most people, but not for me. Most of my clients don't even want 8K. And if they do, they're not trying to mess with RAW. Cinetone is where it's at. So for those of you who are, I don't want to say lazy editors, but you have to edit fast. No, you have to edit quick. Lazy. You got that quick turnaround time. Lazy. I'm telling you, that Cinetone look good right out the camera.
Oh!
But I like that I can shoot S-Log in 8K as opposed to having to shoot RAW. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm a shooter first, editor by necessity. So you throw some RAW at me, I gotta go to Google, I gotta figure out.
Wait, I'm sorry, you don't when I throw RAW at you?
Lot of mercy. So, if you want something right out of the camera that doesn't require a lot of processing, Sony's definitely the way to go. But they both do 8K, but I wish you could do like 8K C-Log. That would be perfect. Why not add that? Why jump all the way to RAW? Like, why? Okay, I guess some people like it like. So let's talk about some other features of these cameras. So they both can do Express card. So this does Express Type B, this does Express Type A, but hey, you get Express on both of them. Polar Express? I don't know. So this has time code and it shoots MOV, which is great, which means you can actually use the time code in Premiere Pro, which is great. This records MP4 files, so the time code that you get on it is useless because Premiere Pro can't pick it up anyway, unless you use audio time code. But if you're gonna use audio time code, you might as well just sync up the audio anyway. So the Canon definitely has an advantage when it comes to time code. Let's cut and then let's. So as I've been using both of these cameras over the past few weeks, I can say that the battery life is definitely better on Sony. I think all that raw processing is, you know, eating up the battery juice.
So you don't like processing it raw?
I like for things to just work and to be easy and to do exactly what I want. And the Sony does that, but the Canon gives you extra. The Canon gives me things that are great, but I don't need. The Sony gives me just what I want.
So you're telling me that you'd rather have something that gives you exactly what you want than something that lets you play, especially if you like RAW?
For me, as a run and gun DP videographer, shooting interview setups, handing the footage off to clients, most people them not handle the RAW. That's just the truth. It's just the truth.
Wait. So just tell me real quick, what is the benefit of 8K in your workflow as a specifically actuality shooter? You know, things like interviews and otherwise.
Great question. The benefit of 8K is that I can shoot a 2-person interview, which I recently did, really wide, get both subjects in, head, feet, ceiling, and floor, and then in post be able to reframe with more of a cowboy shot. So I'm getting 2 shots in one. And let's say they want to release in 1080, I'm getting 4 shots in one. So I just get so many shots by shooting 8K. It just gives me so much more flexibility in post. It gives the client way more flexibility in post. And the Sony gives them a file format that they can handle. If I gave some of these clients RAW, them not know what to do. They're gonna look at me like, can you fix the file? And I'm like, you asked for it RAW, you got it RAW. But if you are someone who works well with RAW, then Canon is for you. Or if you just want really beautiful photos, Canon is for you.
Well with RAW?
If you have the right environment, RAW is great. But for some of you people, you might need more gloves or other things if you go RAW. That's all I'm gonna say. So make sure you show up to the right party with the right supplies. I don't know where the accent coming from. I have West Indian people and my family, them Guyanese, Trinidadian, Jamaican, all over. So my accent mix up. So anyway, let me go back to the, you know, English. So yes, Yankee. Whenever I go to the islands, they're like, you's a Yankee. Clearly, if I'm not born here, I guess that's what you can call me. So the R5C, you know, the screen flips out. So, which is nice. It gives you the basic flippy that you need. But the R5 from Sony takes it a little bit further because not only can you flip it out and twist, but you can pull it closer to you and pull it away. So it just gives you more viewing angles and more positions to work with for those of you that like different positions. That's another option.
Love positions.
Regarding price point, I think this is like around what, 30, 32, 3,000-ish for the camera. How much is the R5C? I think the R5C,
36.
how much? Let's see. Canon R5C. Oh, $3,000. $3,000. 37? No, that's 3,000.
It's a discounted price.
Yeah. So 3,000. They don't really. They whatever number is there, that's the price. 3,000.
Wow, what is it?
And the Sony A7R5 is 38 new, but you can get it renewed or used for like 32, because that's what I did. I know where the savings is at. So yeah, so price point, this costs more. Oh my goodness, the most important feature, autofocus. You know, I'm running gun on red carpets, interviews, chasing people down. I'm not chasing people down the street, but the autofocus is way better on the Sony than it is on the Canon.
Is it good?
Hands down. Like the Sony could focus in the dark with a candle and be fine. The Canon struggled fest with finding the people's faces and such, unless the lighting is perfect. So Sony definitely wins there. So at the end of the day, if I had to just choose one, it would all depend on what the end usage will be. If I'm strictly doing photography and that's my focus, hands down, Canon wins. The photos are just impeccable. They're just beautiful. They're just lush. They have like a sharpness and a softness with a creaminess that I just can't explain. It's just pure perfection on the Canon. But if you want something that's really strong with video, that's a hybrid, that's gonna complement your other Sony cameras, hands down, the Sony A7R5 is the way to go. So I have a tough decision to make. Do I wanna keep this or do I wanna keep this one? Do I wanna keep them both? For me, I buy gear that is supported by the shoots that I have. And if my shoots are gonna pay for the camera, then I'll get the camera. I really am strongly thinking about keeping the Canon because I have enough video shooters. I do want a strong photo camera. So I'm gonna continue to play with this. And also the menu system is so weird for me coming from Sony. It is like, I feel slow. I'm like, where are things? So I'm hoping that I get more familiar with that over time. But let me know your thoughts. If you were a Sony shooter, which one would you get? If you're doing video, and if you are a Sony shooter, which one would you get for photography? I am the chef gal, and you just got that Sony Canon 8K recipe.